If you like sweet and spicy beef jerky, you're gonna absolutely love this one. I'm Doug with jerky.com, and today in our test kitchen, we're making this honey sriracha beef jerky recipe. All right, I'm really excited for this one, so we're just gonna get going. Now, I always start with 2 pounds of pre-sliced eye of round. Now, if you don't know, I keep this stuff pre-sliced and pre-measured in 2-pound bags in my freezer. That way, when I make these test batches, really quickly, I can just get in and make it and get the flavor tested without having to go through the whole meat slicing thing. So 2 pounds eye of round, that's how we're getting started. We got 1 full cup of the sriracha, add a 1/2 cup of honey, brown sugar, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, black pepper, and liquid smoke. Now, if you didn't get any of that, that's okay. Down in the description, you'll find a full list of all these ingredients. Plus, you can go over to our blog at jerky.com and see all the ingredients and all the steps, everything you need to know to make this. That link is also down in the description. Now, all that's left, get your hands dirty. Start mixing this stuff up. Now, the first thing I do, I just want to make sure none of the meat sticks together. So I start separating it. When I store them in those bags, they tend to kind of stick together pretty tightly. So if you don't take the time to peel them apart, some pieces stay stuck together. And that can make it hard for the flavor to really penetrate each piece fully. Then you just start tossing this stuff. Now, when you're mixing this stuff, you're kind of looking for 2 things. First, you want to make sure all the dry ingredients are getting properly dissolved in with the liquid. This is really important in making sure you get a consistent flavor profile throughout that marinade. The second thing you're looking for is you want to make sure that the entirety of each piece is properly getting covered. So just keep mixing until you're confident you have both of those things accomplished. I think we're at that point now. I think this is all pretty well mixed up. And now all that's left is to seal it up tight, throw it in the fridge. It's been about 40 hours since I put this in the fridge. So racking this stuff isn't exactly rocket science. Make sure everything's perfectly flat. You don't want any sort of overlap or anything like that. You want to make sure that there's plenty of airflow, not only over the top and the bottom of the meat, but also around all the edges. Other than that, just know the capacity of your machine. So I know this is a 6-tray dehydrator, and I'm only doing 2 pounds of wet meat. So 6 trays will usually get me about 4 pounds of wet meat. So 2 pounds of wet meat is easy peasy. I got plenty of racks here, so I don't have to worry too much about being a Tetris master on this one. Now hold those trays loaded up. Let's fire up this dehydrator and get this stuff drying out. Now set the climate temperature for your desired texture. I know this machine's about 140 degrees. Time-wise, I'm gonna start checking this one in about 3.5 hours. But with that honey and stuff, I think it's gonna go a little longer. But I'm gonna start checking about 3:30. I started checking this about 3.5. When you do recipes that have a good amount of honey, it ends up getting quite a bit of surface moisture, some stickiness, obviously, but it also takes a little longer to dry. I tend to babysit honey recipes a little longer. Has a little bit more surface moisture than I'd like. It's really close. This thing ran for about 4.5 hours all in, but I like it. I'm gonna call this one done. Sweet and spicy flavors are my absolute favorite, so I'm really excited to dig into this one. First off, it has a really good chew, really good tear. I think the texture is perfect. The flavor is phenomenal. You get just enough sweetness, it's not too overwhelming, but then that sriracha starts to kick in. The two of these pair perfectly. Overall, this is an excellent sweet and spicy flavor profile. Honestly, I don't think I'd change a single thing. I think this recipe is dead on. If you plan on making this, leave me a comment below. And if you do make it, come back and let me know how it turned out and what you would change next time. Who knows, we may make your version in our next video. If you enjoyed this video and got any value out of it whatsoever, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. We drop new beef jerky recipes all the time, and I don't want you to miss a single one. The next one may be the perfect jerky for you. Thanks for making this with me, and I'll see you next time in the jerky.com test kitchen.